Welcome back, peoples. Special video today. I am going to go over my history with Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm going to immortalize it on the internet. It will be immortalized for the legacy of the Retro Rage lore history. Right? So we're going to get special Retro Rage lore today. So I'm just gonna go over my Yu-Gi-Oh collection and maybe talk a little bit about my history with Yu-Gi-Oh and how it's affected my life, I guess. And yeah, it's just gonna be a fun little video where I just ramble on about my history with Yu-Gi-Oh. And it all starts with my original collection as I pull these cards out from the back. As you can see here. So, at some point in my life, I think it was right after when I was going to community college, I was like cleaning up. Right? I was cleaning up a bunch of stuff, throwing away a bunch of garbage, and I had all my old Yu-Gi-Oh cards that, me and my brothers have collected over the many years. And I ended up recycling a lot of them. A lot of the bulk or quote-unquote useless cards. But in my process of recycling them, I was thinking, you know what? I really love old Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And like the original mentality and design of what they were going for with monsters, right? I love monsters. Nowadays you get all the anime waifus and a humanoid figures, but there's something that really appealed to me back when I was younger, young impressionable retro age. I really liked monsters. And so I actually kept a lot of the normal monsters. I did a singleton check on every normal monster that we had, and I put it in this binder. And I'm still filling it out with cards, normal monsters that come out in Yu-Gi-Oh. But this is an entire binder of my most favorite cards. Not all of them are normal monsters, but most of them are normal monsters. My most favorite cards that I really like that aren't really playable. So this special one right here, Everyone's King, 5Ds is like holds such a special place in my heart because if you guys didn't know, it talks about classism, right? It's about like Yuseis from the satellite, and those are like lower class people, right? And they reach Domino City where it's like life is better, and they're trying to bridge the gap between Domino City and Satellite and connect the two locations so that it's not separated by class. Like the classes come together as like a people, and so there's a place in my heart for original Yu-Gi-Oh, but like in terms of like how much I resonate with what's being said in the anime, 5Ds is like really resonant. And just the fact that it's Yusei in like the hood, the satellite, and like he's picking up all these junk cards and trying to make a great deck with them. I love Junk Warrior. Junk Warrior is probably one of my top 10 favorite monsters of all time. Just the theme around the Yu-Gi-Oh monsters is what really drove me to really love the game, just beyond it being a card game, right? So Jack Atlas, one of my favorite characters, just pumping up with the Soul Fist. And then we got Gigabyte. Here, let me pull this up a little closer. Gigabyte here. I think it might be upside down in the video, I guess. But Gigabyte, I just love his story being told through the cards. And you can see I'm missing the middling form, the 1850. I think that's like the most common one, but I just don't have it. So I have the series of Gigabyte. If you guys don't know any of the lore behind that, go just search up the lore behind Gigabyte. I love this. One of my most favorite things about Yu-Gi-Oh is how they tell the story through some of the cards. Some of the like whole archetypes or just random monsters just have this insane lore that's goes across time, like years of cards being released. They just suddenly get put in, and they tell the story of how these cards progress over time. And each of those stories individually are all things that you could make a movie, a game, an anime about, right? You can make an anime of Gigabyte himself and like or themselves, a monster, right? And how they progress throughout whatever story they're running through. So you can see he's like becoming, you know, eviler, more evil, and then he like purifies himself and becomes Gaga Gigo the Risen. Like these are the things that I love Yu-Gi-Oh for. So, and then we have, I think this is my one of my most favorite cards, maybe top one. It is Mr. Volcano. Let me pull this out. Oh, it's so hard to. This binder is not optimal. Mr. Volcano right here. Check this out. This was Young Retro Rage's first boss monster. In fact, I made like a little 2D animation thing. He's like my avatar for the 2D animation, and I just think he's so sick. It's, ironically, Yu-Gi-Oh supposed to be a monster, but my favorite guy is like a freaking volcano man with wacky hair. But like, I don't know why. It's just his pose. I love superheroes, right? And I love his pose that he does with the finger burst here. So 5-star, 2100, 1300 defense. The seemingly mild-mannered creature has an extremely volatile temper. And, despite my, cheeryish, sillyish nature, the volatile temper, that internal rage, really, really resonated with me. So this guy, I like this card a lot. He's my original boss monster. And then I just like the fire attribute. I like fire. Fire is like my favorite element. If I was a wizard and I could cast any element, or I was the avatar in the avatar world and I was a bender, I'd be a fire bender, because just fire, that heat, that explosive energy, that raging fire, just absolute exploding uncontrollable flame that destroys everything. That is like me. That's me. I'm like the fire that burns everything to the ground, right? So I really enjoyed all the pyro monsters of the past. The Flame Champion here, one of my favorite cards. I guess I could show it on the big camera, or somewhere right here. Again, Flame Champion. Oh, it's reversed. Oh, but I love this card. This is actually, if you go check on Pro Deck Duel, what is it called? The thing that MBT always sponsors or gets sponsored by. I made a generic Magnum Opus cube. This is the card on the profile of that. And then we have Warrior Digrapher, part of the, what's it called? He's always trying to get, or he's chasing DDD Warrior Lady across dimensions. I always thought that was funny, kind of like me chasing, always doing the chasing. Maybe not getting the reception back, but whatever. That's okay. We try. Warrior Digrapher tries. And then I think he goes on the evil end with Dark Lucius, but there's a version of him that goes on the good end with Greffer the light Greffer or something, I think. But he's very funny. I enjoy all the traps with him. Meeting DD Warrior Lady in the interdimensional space. I think they're all hilarious. Very funny card. And then we can just keep going here, I guess. I have all the Celtic Guardian, the Dark Fire Soldiers, just all the normal monsters here. Just my collection of shenanigans. I'm trying to think. I'll point out particular ones that I really like. Atsu, I love the Paper Men series. You'll find them in Fossil Dig. I never really noticed until I saw a video pointed out, but they are the Fossil Dig team. They're the cards. These are the guys that are in those fossil cards where they're excavation. It's the excavation team. They're also in Ground Collapse, which is a very cringe going first synchro deck floodgate card. They're in there. They're the ones falling in the pit. So These guys are just very funny, and I think they have a funny meaning if you translate their name and from Japanese to English. It's like that guy or this guy. He seems very unreliable, but he might have incredible potential. Maybe. I hope I'm not unreliable, but sometimes I am. And then let's see, what else do we have here? Dark Blade. Oh yes, the lore behind this card. So I love the Skull Servant, and back when we were kids, me and my brothers, we didn't really have that many cards, right? So instead of getting new cards, we would write our own little effects in the card text here to make up our own new version. So this Skull Servant card, it became, it's just a normal zombie with 300 attack, 200 defense. But we wrote in that it becomes a zombie effect monster. This card, wow, the writing. This card must be summon graveyard by poisoning something monster. Remind you, this is when we were kids. I wrote this. Somebody wrote this when we were kids. Me, one of my brothers, and now it has 3,000 attack and 4,200 defense. But I love Skull Servant. He has a whole storyline with his family. I picked up the Chibi one because I love this card so much. Right? He's just the goat. He's just the goat. He has his whole little skeleton family with Skull Dog Marion, or the Marion dog, which also becomes a skeleton. And then we did the same thing for Guardian of the Labyrinth. This is what when you don't have cards, you just make up your own. And you know what? I take that philosophy nowadays, right? I don't have the cards. I'll just make my own cards. Right? Let's see, what do we change Guardian of the Labyrinth to do? Freaking Warrior effect. Destroy all of your opponents when summoned. It cannot be destroyed by trap or magic cards. Back when Yu-Gi-Oh spells were called magic, and then they got the whole debacle with magic. They got Wizards of the Coast, and they had to rename it to spells. But yeah, funny normal monsters. Yeah, I love these normal monsters, man. These were basically, Saggy the Dark Clown, Doma the Angel of Silence. And you know what? I've quit Yu-Gi-Oh so many times, more times than I can count on my hands, where I'm like, oh, I'm done with the game. I don't want to play this game anymore. And then Konami comes out, retrains the normal monsters, and I'm like, oh, I'm back in. I'm like, oh, they retrained Aquamador, they retrained Big Koala, they retrained Illusionist Faceless Mage. That got a retrain, guys. This card got a retrain 25 years later. 25 years later, we have a new Illusionist Faceless Mage. That's an illusion monster or tune or something, and for the new tune deck. Isn't that crazy? It's things like that bring me back. The new Umi deck, where I love Daedalus, the Dragon Daedalus, and then it had the Neo Dragon Daedalus, and now 15 years later, we have the Daedalus that does searches amount of cards up to the number of cards you discard or something. Crazy. Mechanical Chaser used to be a crazy card. Lajin, the mystical genie of the lamp. I love this card too. And then I also have the lamp, but I don't think, because the lamp wasn't a normal monster, I don't think I separated it. Oh, GX. For all GX's shenanigans, Chum-Li was one of my most favorite episodes of GX is when Chum-Li fights Crowler. And this is for him to be able to go to Pegasus and become a card designer, right? And, as a kid, I'm rooting for Chum-Li. But he actually, spoilers, if you guys haven't watched GX, it's been out for so many years. Spoilers, he loses against Crowler. But the greatest part about that episode is that Crowler doesn't actually enact the punishment of not allowing Chumli to go to Pegasus Island to design his card because he won the competition. Crowler was trying to teach him to have spirit, to have like belief in himself. And he was using the pressure of, losing opportunity for Chumli to like really get his act together and do his best, which like he did, right? Cuz he really wanted to go to the island, so he like went to his room, he studied his cards, he practiced the lines, and he worked so hard to try to beat Dr. Crawler, but he ends up losing. And Dr. Crawler's like, the point of this was so that you can feel the pressure to like work towards getting better, right? And like that emotional state that I am going to beat you, I need to beat you kind of mentality. And I just really appreciated that Crowler would do something like that, because it wasn't really about winning or losing. It was about having the faith in your deck and your skill, right? And that episode, Big Koala, and he summons the Master of Oz, and that episode is so good. I would highly recommend everybody to watch that episode. It's so good. It's so good. And Dr. Crowler is one of my favorite characters, which we'll get to. Yeah, we getting. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Now I'm thinking like this video might go. It's already 16 minutes. It might go a long time. Yu-Gi-Oh is such a big part of my life. Like, it's affected me a lot in mostly positive ways. I don't like the direction the game is going, but the game has allowed me to have a bunch of opportunities to connect with people I normally probably wouldn't connect with, because we share the common hobby of Yu-Gi-Oh, and a lot of the important things that happen in my life is because of this game. Not like like this game is so great. No, this game is kind of terrible, right? But like just the fact that I could share the experience and play this games with other people, like my life has definitely curved different paths because I've met people in my life who also played Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So yeah, we'll get to that. Documenting Retro Age lore. Write it down. Freaking look at all these normal monsters. Look at all these yes. Oh yeah, Harpy's brothers. I have the original, or not the original version, but the one before they changed the name right here. I keep looking over there because that's where I want to make sure that like it's visible. But yeah, this is before I think this is called Sky Scout now. But I have the Harpy's brother version before they renamed him. Empachi, I have all the Empachi cards down here. Let me pull it. Let me squeeze this so I can easily slide this binder back and forth. All the Empachis. I love Empachi, even though he's kind of evil. But like the fact that he's in a bunch of other cards with Gagigo, Giga Gaga Gigo, right? And he's just this wooden tree that this log attacks lost travelers in the forest. It was originally a big tree and it was cut down and possessed by a wicked spirit. So, that's a great story where like this tree that's been living a long time gets cut down and then it gets cursed and now it attacks the people who cut it down. It's great. Just you can make the whole story. These are all things that Konami can like make an anime about, and it would be peak, and I would watch it, right? Just for the heck of it. There's so much good stuff here. There's so much content. Each card has its own journey. That's what I love about these monsters and stuff. And now nowadays you have things like branded. It's your typical freaking okay. Some people like that. The anime shenanigans. But I really hate branded. And like I'm so sick of the white hair, some light colored hair person, lady, girl, and they go on this duo adventure. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of that trope in Japanese anime, at least. I'm sick of it. But you know, all these monsters. Misai Ruzame is just a shark with a rocket launcher attached to it. It's just funny. Bring me back to Yu-Gi-Oh where there's just monsters, right? I love Cloudian. Oh my goodness. This is a slept on card. Oh my god, look how peak that is. You know, you'd be like, oh, this Yu-Gi-Oh monster, I thought you liked monster. Not just freaking look at this guy. Freaking peak. He's freaking peak. You're telling me that if this was a super monster eater person and I saw this in the freaking road and I'd go outside and then I would get eaten. That's what would happen. You know, I'd lose. I admit it. I'd lose. This Cloudian ball thing. I'd be like, what the heck? It's freaking squish. You know. I love the Cloudian archetypes. Just funny clouds. I love clouds. Clouds are great. Swordsman of Landstars, the Joey Wheeler card. 500 attack. It's the card that he always uses with the graceful dice and it multiplies its attack. Oh, if it kept the multiply effect, it'd be broken. But we have the Avatar Turtle. Oh, I don't think right here. That's the Avatar Turtle from Avatar. Island Turtle. Wait, Avatar didn't come out yet. At that point, Avatar stole the island turtle from here. No, I'm sure there's a lot of mythology about big turtle islands. Labyrinth Wall, classic DM card right here. I love the duel between Yugi and Joey against the stereotype Asian monk. I forget their names, but they're like martial artists and they have the little words on their forehead and they say, oh, I always tell the truth, and one always tells the lie. How will you figure out which door won't let you die or something? That was great. I love that duel. It was very fun, very different. Right? And I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh does these things anymore. It's very, because of how successful it is, I guess, everything is very streamlined. Very streamlined. There's not as much risk taking, I guess, anymore. DDD, different dimension is such a good string of cards. I love different dimension cards. And then we have Seals Master Messe with, I think I have his, oh I don't, his, I love Talisman Exorcism. That's like one of my favorite mythoses of all time. And, I don't think I think this is the only guy that really does the Talisman stuff. But if they have like retrain, just putting it out there, retrain would be super sick. Let's see, what else? Yeah, Jerry Beans, man, the GOAT. We have the new Dragon Tuner Lady, normal monsters. This is a continuation of Dragon Core Hexer right here. She becomes this. It's just these stories. These are the stories that I love in Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right? If they could do more of this, I mean, okay, everyone's like, oh, you could do that in branded. That's not branded. Please, not branded. I don't. But people like that Tri-Brigade kit and little Tri-Brigade stuff. I guess Tri-Brigade's pretty cool. I'll give it Tri-Brigade. I'm just a branded hater. What can I say? I'm done. No more hate. I will not talk any more hate about branded. Oh, the OG Elemental Heroes. Except for Bubble Man, because he's an effect monster. And then, what else? Kozaki, the funny scientist man. I don't think they've given him a full archetype yet, unfortunately. But he's there. Archfiend Soldier, 1900 attack, 4-star monster. That was very good for the day. Luster Dragon. I'm missing Ojama Green. I'm missing Ojama Green. I need to get an Ojama Green normal monster to complete the trio here. We have Alexandrite Dragon, 2K 4-star. Oh, Sue Ships. Okay, we'll talk about Sue Ships soon. And I have the Alt Art Lajin. I don't have all the Magnet Warriors, unfortunately. Another Celtic Guardian, the original art. Oh, let's see. Terra King Salmon's my funny water monster tech that I used to run. And then we have the OG trash fusion monsters that I thought were always really funny. Flame Swordsman, the goat, probably one in my top 10 favorite cards of all time. They're fire monsters. Fire monsters, I just love fire monsters. Hungry Burger, this card is so funny and I love food. We'll talk about this one later too. Moki Moki King. The episode where Jaden fights the chill guy, the Moki Moki guy. That episode's very funny. I just like Moki Moki King. Okay, you know what? The line eyes, I love the Brock eyes. For however you want to think, that's kind of reaches. I love the line eyes and I love the depiction. I don't see line eyes as a negative quality, right? Or like I see it as a positive thing. So when people use it in like a normal way, that's like a positive for me. That's like a good representation. It's not you know what I'm saying? So there's my take on that. I love cards and characters with like this line eyes. That makes me very happy. And then we have some OG terrible ritual monsters and their ritual spells. I don't have the ritual monsters, unfortunately. They're somewhere. I might have recycled them. Oh, but no, I don't think I did recycle them. I think they're in my cube. And we have the classic Musician King. Right, guys? Because 2 women make a man. Think about that one. Think about that one, guys. When you polymerization 2 women, the Witch of the Black Forest and the Lady of Faith, you get a metal rock star. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that. What that means for humanity. I'll let the viewers hold that one. We have all the knights here. Let's see what else. The Mask Beast in Ultra. I always liked this card's design. I just thought it was interesting. They used this in the fight of the Kaiba and Yugi on the skyscraper, where there's like bombs attached to their life points, and the first person to lose all their life points, the bombs explodes and they fall to the death. Like that's hardcore. That's hardcore. When I see this card, I think about those duels, and I'm like, dang. You know what? For all of Yu-Gi-Oh's craziness, Yu-Gi-Oh has always been hardcore. The stakes have always been crazy for the children's card game. And that's great. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that the stakes are so high and they're just playing this card game, and if they lose, just some crazy stuff happens. It's so funny. Oh, another Moki Moki King. How could I? No repeats. No repeats. Here, I'll fix that. See anything here? Oh, so here we get some effect monsters, and these are just some of my funny cards. I like Mystical Sand because it's Sangan and Giant Soldier. Or no, not Sangan. Which one's the Sandwich is the Sangan. That's just fine. Look at this card. Isn't it just peak? Let me pull it out. I don't know, dude. Just look at this guy. He's freaking chilling. I always like this card's design. I wonder why it's like this. They need to explore this card a little more. And then I love Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc is just a super cool human being in like the mythos and the history, right? There's like this woman who like fights for the liberation of her people, and they made it a card, and like look at that card art. It's so sick. Like, you see that? Like, how is that not peak? Right? It's got like the cross in the back, the cross of light. Oh, dude. Just when you have cool women who aren't freaking, woman in media representation, she's just cool. And I like the representation here. And she's got multiple freaking cards. I don't know if you guys know, but she has her whole series of cards with Pennant of Revolution, and then with Liberty at Last. She's got a bunch of retrains of back then. So they've retrained her a few times. or and she's part of. I don't know what her lore is, because I think she becomes evil in the DDD version here. You can tell it's the same person because she's wearing the same armor and freaking. Now she's just basically wearing the same armor and the same hair, but cool cards. I wonder what her storyline is. You have this card's come out. What, the super old one, and then I think the next one was Guardian Angel Joan, and then the DDD version, and then you had the Pennant of Revolution with the Noble Knights. It's freaking cool. I really like her card series. I think she's just cool, dude. That instead of branded freaking, what's her name, Ecclesia, like why can't we get like Saint Joan or like something? I guess maybe it's too Christiany and they aren't really doing that anymore, but like the art style is so sick. This is like older style instead of the just I'm just an anime hater. But I love Naruto, so I'm not really an anime hater, but oh well. I got the Harpy Ladies. You got all the Harpy Ladies 1, 2, and 3, and the Harpy Lady sisters. Mai was cool. These are all the censored version, right? And I mean, like, they're in purple skin suits, I guess, right? But they're cool. I like the Harpy cards. Freaking ladies that'll freaking kill me, and they have look at that. Master of Oz, Chumley, the goat. Oh, Life Extreme. I'm telling you guys, if you haven't watched 5Ds, you gotta watch 5Ds. Like, it's so good. It's so good. I would even say it's better than the original Duel Monsters. Please watch 5Ds. Oh, right here. Guilford the Lightning. This card. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you. When Joey lost against original Duel Monster spoilers, when Joey lost against Merrick, I don't know, I watched that as a kid, man. I still tear up a little when I watch that fight, because it hurts me. One of the core principles of my life is that people who try so hard and fail, that resonates with me so much, and like it brings me to tears almost every time when I see like any portrayal of someone trying really hard and still losing in the reality, and that hits me hard. And Guilford the Lightning, dude, is just so cool. And it's like one of Joey's boss monsters that he doesn't steal or take or win from the dual battle city, and he's just so cool. I just love this card so much. We have my first extra or structure deck that I like really tried is Exod Master of the Guard. And I love the art in this one. It's like Exodia, but he's golden and he's defensive. He's got a bunch of defense, and it's like he's guarding a door. That's just so sick. And this picture just really appealed to me when I saw it as a kid. So this was the first structure deck I specifically chose or asked my parents to purchase. So very important card for my. I wouldn't say important, but like it was like the first structure deck I chose as a duelist in Targets. And then we have some branded cards. Supreme Sovereign Serpent of Golgonda. I just love the art style of this card so much. I pull it out. Like whoever drew this, I love this painting style, and it's a monster. And this makes me feel like it's old Yu-Gi-Oh again. And like I love this card so much, the way it's drawn. And so I also have its corresponding related cards, how it needs the Great Sand Sea, but it is technically a branded card. And then here I think this Punk is probably my favorite archetype art card, Like I love how these cards are drawn, and like the style. I think it's like a Japanese style of drawing that they put here. It's so amazing. Like when I look at Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm like, yes, you have tour guide and all the, which is okay. Sometimes having like your classic anime stuff, it's okay. It's okay, right? I have the magicians down here. I do like, my anime waifus, right? Or like, cute things, anime, like that's cool and all. But like just sometimes they push it so much with branded elf notes, freaking the weird worded card that's coming out soon in the TCG. Like that style is just pushed so much sometimes. I'm like, can I get something cool like Punk? Can I get Rescue Ace? Like, can I get something that's like monsters, right? You know what I'm saying? Something that invokes that unique style that Yu-Gi-Oh has, where it's just like things everywhere and all this creative blast. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And then I gotta, for all the normal monsters that I don't have or more favorite cards, I got a bunch of empty space to fill this binder. So that's the binder. That is the incomplete binder. Normal monster binder, essentially, and my favorite cards. Mostly. The blue eye is in the side here. Okay, so that's that. Recording Yu-Gi-Oh history, man. It's already 30. I thought I could go through this faster, but this might be a 2-hour video. I guess we can go next to this one. Snorlax, and that's just a Pokemon box to store some cards here. I really like the Charmers. They're just the old Charmers, the new Charmers. They're just interesting. Like I like it. My favorite part of Yu-Gi-Oh is when they tell an interesting story, other than like Branded and stuff. I already said I'm done speaking ill about Branded. And this right here is one of my brother's original deck, still in his own custom made duel box right here. And we can take a look at what we were playing back then. We have Straight Flush, Vanity's Fiend, Vampire Lord, Pedin, Familiar Possessed. It was just a 1850 beater, which is pretty good back then. Magic Jammer, Summon Skull, the deck profile. Scrap Iron Scarecrow, so I guess this was 2008 or something. Chaos Sorcerer, just a bunch of OG cards, and I've kept it in place here, like this, as this is a storage of history. And this deck, honestly, for like pretty generic, no archetype cube deck, this is pretty good. This is a pretty good deck. It's got a bunch of outs just in case you run into something different. Dark Holes. Just got a bunch of good generic cards. This is like a stability, I guess, with the ID there. Luckily, that was face down. And then, yeah, we got the Charmer cards here. Just a bunch of Charmer cards. Because I like the Charmers. My brother was trying to run the Charmers, and I was trying to build a Charmer deck for him, just for fun. But Charmers are kind of sus right now. They don't really have a good strategy on their own. I know they recently got the new structure deck, but those cards are they don't have to be good. Cards don't have to be good, okay? That's true, but they're certainly cards of all time. They do have the really good fusion spell. But that is that. And then I guess we can go through this one. Let me organize this a little more so I can know what cards I've gone through. This is basically my entire collection. We got Edison here. These are some decks from long ago, from my high school. Well, high school wasn't, it was 10 years ago, but I guess 10 years is a long time. Yeah, we have our Blue Eyes. This was like the old Blue Eyes deck with Azir. I think it was just 3 structure decks. Freaking. Yeah, just old Blue Eyes. Or back when we played Yu-Gi-Oh in the high school library with just the 4 of us, 4 Yu-Gi-Oh heads, And I think that's Yu-Gi-Oh basically how I met my high school friends was on the first day of school. I think they were talking about I was walking, I remember it exactly. I was walking towards the library. And this was my first day of school, and they were sitting on the cafeteria lunch table. That's like, imagine here, I'll put it on the board. Imagine here, let me use a colored one. This is the library. Imagine this is the library. And I'm right here as Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Between me and me going to the library, there's 3 sets of tables here in the cafeteria, right? And so I'm walking, new freshman to this new district. I'm going to the library, and there's two dudes here, freaking my will in the future be my high school friends, right? They're chilling here, and they're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. They're either talking about Yu-Gi-Oh or League of Legends, right? And I'm walking, I'm like, you guys play Yu-Gi-Oh or League of Legends once? I think it was Yu-Gi-Oh, but they're like, yeah, we play Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like, oh, I was surprised because I was like, dang, I didn't think I would meet people that played Yu-Gi-Oh, were, I thought it was cringe, you can't be playing Yu-Gi-Oh and freaking be a cringe lord, freaking lower social status in high school or something. And I saw these guys, and then I remembered them, right? It burned into my brain. I see these 2 guys, and I go to the library. I say hi. I don't think I introduced myself, but I ended up having class with them, like a class that they both were also in, and then that's how I met those 2, and then those 2 eventually end up leading to me meeting 3 other dudes. And that's it was the 6 of us in high school. This was my friend group. It was all 6 of us. And that stemmed from Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh or League of Legends. I'm pretty sure it was Yu-Gi-Oh. But Yu-Gi-Oh is like what stuck. League did do something similar, but it was Yu-Gi-Oh. And we would play Yu-Gi-Oh after school in the library. Almost I think most every day, and I didn't have that much time because I always had to leave, and I would always hold up my parents and my brother because I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's I would tilt my parents and my brother because I'd be playing Yu-Gi-Oh and they'd be like, you gotta go, we gotta go, man, we gotta go home, but. That was that. This is one of my friend's decks. He played this deck. He played Blue Eyes. I can put that right here. And then we have an actually good deck for the time. Light Sworns, Chaos Light Sworns, and oh wait, no, this isn't. This is just Chaos. And the same guy also, he played both of these decks. One of he played both of these. So that's one of my friend's decks. And then here we go. This is an actually top tier deck for the time. Light Sworns. And this was a senior. Well, we were freshmen. He was playing Yu-Gi-Oh as a senior. And junior? No, senior. And he actually graduated. And when he graduated, he gave me his Yu-Gi-Oh decks. And I still don't know why he gave me his Yu-Gi-Oh decks. And when he was like, yo, I'm graduating, but I wanted to give you. It was a really nice gesture. I appreciated it. And I was like, are you sure? Like, this is your deck. This is like, when you give somebody, maybe it's not that deep. It's not that deep, but when you give somebody, I took it like freaking Yu-Gi-Oh, dude. When you give somebody your deck, like your deck represents your soul, right? Like your heart, your spirit. And when you give somebody your deck, like he gave me both. He gave me his Light Sworn deck, which is really good for the time. Like Light Sworns were like top tier. That's like a top tier deck. Light Sworn, very good. And he gave me his Crystal Beast deck. Right here, you can see Rainbow Neos, all the Crystal Beasts, and maybe I still I don't know. He says I don't know what was going on, but I think it was like maybe a closing chapter for him because I'm not sure the direction he went afterwards was the best, but I won't forget that he gave me this. Like I I, I appreciate it a lot, and I think he was going through a lot of stuff for him to give me these cards, right? And I've kept them ever since. Um, and I hope he's doing good wherever he is right now. I'm not sure that the answer is correct. Like I don't think I'm not sure. I have a suspicion that it's not good where he's gone, but I won't forget that he did this. Right. So there's that. So that is that collection of cards that I have. Oh my goodness, 47 minutes. I'm gonna take all the time. Take all the time. Take all the time. This is recorded in history. Recorded in history. All right. Let's see what I have here. Oh yes, my actual current present day competitive decks with quotes. I was never very a competitive. I compete, but I don't win. if that's a way to put it. I compete and I don't win. And guess what? GX, I think my two favorite characters from GX are Chaz. Chaz it up, Monjome Thunder. Right? I just like Chaz because he's silly. He was originally arrogant, but like he learns, and there's a lot of character developed with him. He had GX is very silly. He does some crazy silly things. There's like some moments where he's super cringe, but I really appreciate the fact that he believes in his Ojamas, like his Yu-Gi-Oh spirits, even though they're weak and cringe. He doesn't give up on them, right? At some points he does give up on them because he's mentally like out, in a bad place. But he ends up coming back to them and winning with them because he like really believes in their power, right? Despite how weak and cringe they are, his Ojama Yellow and Ojama Black and Ojama Green. Like that's something I really appreciated about Chaz because, at times you might think that there are certain things that aren't worth your time or your effort because their results or how they present themselves is not typically successful, strong, positive, or anything like that. But despite all that, there's like that spirit of wanting to do better or wanting to do good, or you know, like really believing in the people that believe in you, right? Or who are always willing to bat for you. It's like kind of like loyalty, but that's not exactly the word I'm looking for. Like, just that faith in each other, right? Faith in the Ojamas, right? So, and then that's Chaz. And then I like Dr. Crowler a lot. Dr. Crowler at the beginning, he's kind of like an antagonist, but as a teacher, as a person who's worked as a teacher for the last 2 years, I even before then, I really like Crowler and how Crowler develops through the series. He kind of like hates Jaden for like no reason. He's wishing for him to fail, but at the end of the series, it's like he's like a real represents like a real teacher who like wants their students to succeed, right? With the episode with Chum Lee really sticks with me, and his final battle with Jaden at the end of the series in the sub. I don't think the dub gets that one, but in the sub is really impactful, where like he accepts defeat and he recognizes that Jaden's a great duelist, and he's like gonna go off and now that he's graduated, he's gonna go off and do great things. And it like hurts to see like sometimes when your children grow up or your students go off to do the great things, it's hard to let go, right? Because you've been with them for so long and you've been teaching them, but you gotta let the birds fly, right? And Dr. Crawler, just I really liked how his character developed and how he pushes his students do better, even though there's all the trolling that he does with trying to make his students fail and get expelled, but he really comes to terms by the end of the series, and I really like his character by the end. So if you watch GX, there's a lot of cringe in GX, but there's a lot of good stuff in GX. It's like a mixed bag there, and I got the OTK bad OTK Ancient Gear deck. It kind of works. It kind of is not that consistent, but it's just as Yu-Gi-Oh is a terrible game, and games only last to like turn 3 most of the time, especially if your deck isn't the top tier deck. You don't really get when you play Yu-Gi-Oh. You don't really play the game. Okay. That's all I say. I love Doctor Ancient Gear Golem. One of my top 10 favorite cards of all time. Mechanized Melee Punch. They're so cool. Konami was cooking with this archetype. And then one of my most favorite new archetypes, Flip Monster Support. Guess what it is? It is the Mocha cards and Enya Craft. Yes, the Flip Monster shenanigans come again. I love Flip Monsters. I think every Flip Monster archetype, Sub-Terror. Oh, you know what? I don't like Shadal, but Sub-Terror, Enya Craft, Wake Up. I don't like coffee, but these cards are neat, right? You have the Wake Up, Kuro, Earl. I don't really drink tea or coffee, but these cards are cute. If you're gonna make cute cards, they're creative at least, right? Yes, there's a neat story, idea, creativeness to these cards that I really appreciate. So it's things like these where I'm like, you know what? It's absolute cinema. I'm okay with the anime shenanigans if they make it like cool. I'm okay. I'm not gonna talk about Brandon. Brandon is not being talked about. And then we have the random geometrical shapes out here. I don't know. I just think they're cool. They're freaking shapes that do Flip Monster shenanigans, and I love Flip Monsters. And then they make their freaking super dudes that I don't own yet because I don't purchase product anymore. I scalp bulk like Yusei Fudo in the satellite. I've realized that I don't agree with how Yu-Gi-Oh makes product, and so I don't purchase product anymore. If I am going to purchase product, it will only be to support locals. But I don't purchase product anymore. And basically all the cards that I get nowadays are just from whatever people don't want, or whatever singles I can get from people who have trades, right? And I used to be able to build most decks that I wanted because I used TCG Player back when I was in college. But TCG Player, whatever great service provides, had that thing where the workers tried to unionize and they basically shut it down and destroyed everybody. And so I don't support TCG Player anymore. So I don't purchase anything from TCG Player, any product. I don't sell there. I just don't support TCG Player. So it's a lot harder for me to pick up cards online because TCG Player does provide a very easy service for people to purchase cards. And now that I don't support them and don't use them, it's not as convenient to get cards through purchasing anymore. I don't purchase cards online anymore. You could be like, oh, you could use eBay or these other. They're not as good. But if there's another rival competitor to TCG Player that comes up and provides just as good of a service, I guess, question mark, I'm open to using it. But you know what? It's a good thing that I don't spend on Yu-Gi-Oh anymore because the game business is bad. I disagree with it. And yes, Yu-Gi-Oh still got me by the balls, and I still want to see it. I still want to have the cards because the art is cool and the ideas are cool and the stories are cool. I just can't justify purchasing product that doesn't go to local stores. So it is what it is. It is my relationship with Yu-Gi-Oh is mood swingy, but I'm firm now in that I'm not trying to really put any money into the game anymore. I just pick up random stuff and try. And there's a lot of bulk, so there's a lot of bulk. I've been able to build quite a bit of stuff just from random cards, right? See all that Enya Craft stuff is from bulk. They're all commons, most of them, and the supers that people don't want, I just scrounge around. And Jack Atlas. So when Yu-Gi-Oh does make a good product, like a structure deck with good reprints, and the cards are good, I did go out and purchase those structure decks, right? So when Yu-Gi-Oh makes good products, I go out and purchase the good product, right? When they make bad product that I disagree with, I don't go purchase the product. And there are some things that got me by the balls, right? I love Jack Atlas, man. So Resonator Archfiends, I love Jack Atlas, man. I love Jack Atlas. What can I say? Soulfist, Burning Impact. So I got my RDA deck here, incomplete, but it's pretty good. Pretty competitive deck. The structure decks in recent times have been really good. They're very functional, and it's a cheap way to get into Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you are trying to get to Yu-Gi-Oh, just pick up a good structure deck. You can get the branded structure deck too. Play a very good deck. Actually, I take that back. Branded, you need some cards that are in the booster packs, and almost all the booster packs are absolutely terrible. Do not purchase Yu-Gi-Oh booster packs. Freaking terrible products. They're all terrible products. What else? Okay. I have this trade binder. Since I don't get many cards ever, I don't have many trades. But sometimes I participate in the local tournaments, and I get OTS packs, and so I have some ultimate rare OTS stuff. I have some random bulk that I thought about building but didn't end up building. I have some random Riftbound cards from going to Riftbound events that my friends want to go to. And then I have some random, somewhat priced cards. I think Ben 10 is like $10. This Miracle Fusion is like 18 from this particular set in Speed Duel. Pretty good. Ecclesia. Okay, I'm done. No more talking about branded or anything related adjacent. Okay, I think that's That and yeah, it's funny. I store all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Yu-Gi-Oh stuff in Chinese pastry boxes. They just end up working out. It's good storage for trading cards. Chinese pastry boxes are the way. All right, let's see what else. I think I have fishes here. Fish. I love the fish cards. I just all the animal stuff. I love the animals and monsters, right? I just that's the stuff I really like, right? And fishes are funny. I like fishes. And the deck is also funny. And they're getting a new deck that I will not be purchasing or playing. I might. Okay. If people have a bunch of bulk, I'll go pick up all the bulk. If they don't want it, right? The new Umi deck, I'll go pick it up, right? Daedalus, I love Daedalus. Daedalus is that was like one of my go-to water decks. I don't think it's in here. I think I threw it away because it was trash. The cards were not very good, and they still aren't very good, even with the new stuff. But let me see. Do I have one? Oh, I think I do. I might have it. Umi is just one of my favorite field spells. There's a lot of stuff related to it, and it just has a special place in my spirit. So I have a bunch of Umi stuff here. What else? Okay, let's see. Is this a bunch of random cards? Let's see. I'm always picking up random cards. All those rarity collections have random reprint bulk that lets me build the cards without spending any money. Because people just don't. There's just a lot of wasted paper in Yu-Gi-Oh. There's a lot of wasted paper in Yu-Gi-Oh. There's a lot of waste. There's a lot of waste, and all these card games have a lot of waste, which I'm trying to change with my card game. If my card game pops off, the business design is. I'm trying to make changes in the industry if I succeed, and I hope that if I succeed, other card companies will follow suit, so that we have just less waste, more people can play the game, and it's not about stonks or you can still rip packs and have that chase card, right? It just when it gets related to gameplay, then I have issues, right? When you have the chase card that you need 3 of, that's like a 1 in 100 or 1 in 30 every pack, that you're trying to rip packs to pool, and all you really need is those cards. Like the business design, I completely agree with, and hopefully one day you guys can see my vision for what a good business model for card games are. So hopefully one day you'll see the card game that I make, and you'll be able to see the business design that I want to see in card games. Because right now it ain't it. I think this is just random stuff that I've picked up. I'm the bulk master. The bulk master of bulk. Yeah, this is. Let's see. Now this is something. So this is all the structure deck stuff from the Jack Atlas that I bought 3 copies of that is not being used in the deck, right? So you end up having just a bunch of paper. Just a bunch of paper that's not being used, right? And that's what am I gonna do with all this? I'm gonna throw it in the recycle. That's what I did a couple years ago, not 2020 around, right? I had all of this and I just put it in the recycle because the business model. You could say there's some. You're not supposed to buy 3 copies of the structure deck, but that's how they only have 1 copy of the card in those structure decks that you really need 3 copies of to play the deck effectively, right? So it ends up The structure decks are still good products. These are much better. This is much better. Let me remind you, much better than purchasing packs. So just keep that in mind. This is the amount of card waste you get for structure decks. And now imagine that for booster packs. Like you don't even want to. Don't play. It's bad. It's bad. So structure decks, it's this bad for structure decks, but it's much better. The lesser of 5 million evils. All right, the lesser of 5 million evils. And then this is speed duel stuff. Speed duel stuff. And the Arcana Force. There's the guy I love the Arcana Force cards because of their theming. Because they're based on the tarot cards, and they're just cool monsters. They have funny flip of, I am a gambler. I love gambling, and I love flipping coins and rolling dice. So I am physically attracted, like magnetized. What I mean, let me clarify. Physically magnetized towards playing cards that do funny shenanigans, right? Or just, flipping coins. I like flipping coins. What can I say? Flipping coins is funny. And then this is the part of speed duel, speed duel stuff, which I would play, but nobody plays speed duel, so whatever. It's a good intro to Yu-Gi-Oh, or just a funny little small format that you could play with a speed duel deck. It's like 20 cards, and you just play it, and it could be fun, right? But nobody out here trying to play mini Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess. Alright, what else do we have here? So, I never actually fully built the deck, but in that high school friend group, one of my high school friends played Six Samurai, and he always beat us because Six Samurais back then were just so strong. Chien with his one spell trap negate, and that was basically it. One spell trap negate was just so good. 2,500 with one spell trap negate and some support. Oh, it was just so strong, and he would always beat us. And I don't know what he would think about Yu-Gi-Oh today, because he's unfortunately no longer with us. But he would still be playing Yu-Gi-Oh just like me. I know that for sure. And he would probably be better than me at Yu-Gi-Oh. He'd play the better decks. But, I'll never know what he would think about modern Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays. And, I've always wanted to build this 6 Sam deck just as a reminder of, the importance. You shouldn't. I don't know. Time passes and everything, right? And you often, you might forget things as time goes on, right? But every time I see the 6 Samurai cards, I'm reminded of him, and I think that's the first person, fortunately, in my life that I've lost. Experiencing, losing a person. That it's not something that happens all the time with everyone. And like for me, that was like the first person that I was like, dang, like this person doesn't exist anymore, right? And all that potential of what that person could have done in the world as a living person is gone, right? Like what he would have thought about Yu-Gi-Oh? What would he be? What he would be doing right now, if he were like still with us, right? And it's not to say that that's why I want to remember, right? because that person still has impact to all the people that they've come across, right? Even if they don't recognize that their impact was there. So, you know, and Yu-Gi-Oh brought us together. Yu-Gi-Oh continues to bring people together for me. Even when I went off to college, a lot of the people I still continue to talk with and communicate with is because we played Yu-Gi-Oh, right? We played Yu-Gi-Oh together. And when I was in LA, UCLA graduate, or when I was in college, I struggled a lot in terms of you know being being a person of positive energy. I don't even know how to put it. When I my college days were rough in the sense, I wasn't like dying or anything, but I try not to let that the anger that I have for a lot of things to control my life, you know. And when I play card games like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic, or when I hop on the game with the homies like video games and stuff, it allows me to to be the person I want to be, because I know the person that once I start thinking about, I'm not I don't know how to say this. If you ever met younger retro age, there's a video on YouTube about when I was a teenager. It's the Seraph playlist video, and like you could go watch that and see the 2015 me, 2017 me, 10 years ago, right? You could see that version of me, and what I was thinking back then. Yeah, I talked about some things in those videos that you can go look and see like my mental state there. And games, I feel like, bring out the real me, the me that wasn't bogged down by life, right? Because if you had a camera, if you had a camera and you went back in the past and like found the kid version of me, like, when I feel like that is like the truest version of me that exists, right? The one where I didn't feel like I didn't have all the weight on my shoulders, all the chains that I'm dragging, right? And like when I play games like Yu-Gi-Oh, or when I play games in general, or just basketball, my favorite sport is basketball. When I get into that state where I'm just focused on this small thing, like the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, or like playing basketball with the people around me, right? I feel like all those chains that hold me like just vanish for that moment in time, and I I feel like the me that I am. I feel like me, right? I feel like I don't know how to describe it. I just, when I'm doing things like this, or doing Yu-Gi-Oh or playing some games with the homies, that's like the most free version of me to exist. And you know, they just these Yu-Gi-Oh lets me connect in a with people in a way that isn't normally how I connect with people. Because if you have spectator mode on College Me, it's very hard for me to really go out and talk with people when I have all those chains on me, those invisible chains, and I genuinely mean that because for the most part, ugh, the interactions I have that I try to have are that version of me. Like the ones you see in the video are typically like, oh yeah, I'm eating food. Food is one of those things that also like remove all the change. I just enjoy the food and like I'm able to like really exist. But like if you see the version of me with all those I'm sure everyone goes through this, right? That version of me does not go out and like do the things that I would strive to do. And there's nothing wrong with that version of me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that, oh yeah, freaking that version of me shouldn't exist. But like it definitely is. If you met me out on the street, if you met me somewhere randomly, right? Out of context, like I'm not in Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not eating food. I'm not playing basketball, right? And I'm not doing things that I love, right? I'm just I'm you would find me much harder to talk with, to interact with. And it it would be tough. It would be tough for that me and like I would say it would just be tough. It would be tough. I'd either be invisible, you would never see me, or if you tried to see me, it would be tough. It would be tough. And I think a lot of when I was in college, outside of the clubs that I was in playing basketball, Yu-Gi-Oh, or things like that, that was the me that people saw, right? And you know, I guess I the way you present yourself is the first impression that people get, and that can determine a lot of things. But back to Yu-Gi-Oh. I hope I hope one day when I have a dream with this project here, so that I can remember him by. But I haven't quite been able to make the thing that I wanted to make for him. And I don't want to step until I don't want I think that I want to get that project done at some point in my life. That would be nice to show that I do remember, right? I do remember, and I haven't forgotten the impact. But That project is only in paper right now. Only in paper. 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 Just like this paper. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I'll put this back. Go next. Go next. Yu-Gi-Oh lore. For the recording. For the history. For the history. Put this back. Have you guys noticed the layout? Nah, just kidding. My layout's much worse. Less production quality. Oh, less production quality. Oh no, the production quality's not as good because I'm not putting the content creator editor work into it. Not a content creator. Not a content creator. That was just an illusion. Illusion. Enjoy this Chinese pastry box. Let me get the next thing. Let's see, what is in here? Typical Yu-Gi-Oh 10. Oh, yes. My flip effect monster extra support cards. Right? More flip supports, because I love flip monsters. More random copies of Enya Craft. And the Mimi Goals. I don't have all the cards for this deck, so I can't finish it. Because Mimi Goal King and the Mimi Goal Field Spell have not been reprinted yet? Question mark? I don't know. It's not. I can't. I'm not gonna buy on TCG Player, so I'm not gonna buy on TCG Player. And I'm trying not to spend money on Yugioh. Just for myself, at least. If I'm gonna spend money on Yugioh, it might as well be at locals where I can play card games with people and not in my room by myself. And then we have the Fur Hire archetype that I really like. Freaking, it's animals that are mercenaries, and I like them a lot. It's a neat storyline. They could make an anime on this or a book. You guys don't know, my favorite book series is Redwall, so this just fits into that narrative of animals doing stuff and being cool. So I like this archetype a lot. Neat. And then we have Dinosaur Pile. Monsters, guys! Bring back Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters! The Dinosaur Pile's freaking Babysaurus. Pop the baby. But this whole shebang here is like not functional. Like, it's just random dinosaur bulk that I've collected over time. You guys see this? Those are those monsters I was talking about. You see them? They're right here. I used to have the green and yellow guy, but I don't know where they are anymore. Unfortunately. So, that. But they should be in that binder. Wait, let me see this. Just random. I like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are cool. I'm a big dinosaur fan, but I just don't have the cards to make them functional yet. And then let's see. What else? Oh yes, Zambies. So I've been trying to get together and collect Spanish Skull Servant. But enough zombie cards to make a functional competitive deck, but all these random cards are not enough yet to make a deck that I feel like is good enough. I've gotten some of the newer retrains, Pump King retrains. They're really good. They're pretty good. but uh, I haven't figured out a way to make a functional deck out of them. So they're just stuck here waiting for the potential deck. Yeah, I like zombies, and I think I have some of the Skull Servant cards somewhere in here. Yeah, see, I've been trying to make a Skull Servant deck because I love Skull Servant, but I just haven't found a way to pool all the. And this is the new one that they released with the alt art, which is nice. I like this idea. Konami has been cooking with better card alternate arts and rarities with the overframes and stuff. They've been doing good things, some good things recently. Still sus. So we got zombies here. What's on the bottom? Oh yes, Geminis. The biggest bruh moments of Yu-Gi-Oh card design. I don't know what they were thinking, but they're cool. I like them. I like the idea of Geminis. I keep looking over there because that's where I can see what's being presented. I like the idea of Geminis. It's just the Yu-Gi-Oh game is so bad that it's just unfeasible to use up two of your normal summons. That's like a terrible mechanic in terms of the grand scheme of playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Horrible, absolutely horrible. So there's that. And then I have some random archetypes that are unfinished, and some, Japan cards that I got from my trip to Japan. The vlog's already up for that. These are just random mini collection of cards that I unfortunately do not have all the cards for. This is the Fiend. It's basically Labyrinth, but the original version. And then they made Labyrinth, but I like these way better because they're like demons. They kind of fit the vibe more versus Labyrinth is like these pretty princess shenanigans. I'm biased. I'm biased. What can I say? I'm biased. I like more dark monster, crazy looking things, or it's interesting to me. The freaking white princess lady in castle is not. I'm not interested. Not interested. And then this is just random cards. Random. Oh. This card right here. Right here. I love the art on this card. I have all three of them here just to have them, right? This card right here. Discipline of the Forbidden Spell. That's Aura. This guy freaking slaps hard. Like, whoever drew this, they were cooking. They were cooking with this card. Oh my goodness. It's got the paper talismans. The Forbidden Spell. Dude, make an Anna. Give this guy a retrain. Give this guy a whole archetype. This is freaking cooking. This is what I love to see in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just something. I just see a lot of potential. Like, there's just so much you could do. Like, I look at some of these cards and I'm like, man, it would be sick to have a whole world about this. Like, what is the story behind this guy in this card? Like, just waiting for that day. Waiting for that. If you don't do something, I'll do something with this. As a reference. Not I can't unfortunately copyright trademark, but like I will cook with this. All right, that's this tin. I think we're almost. We got 2 more Chinese pastry boxes, and Marin, the outstanding dog, part of the little. That's that skeleton dog, part of Skull Servant's family. Put this in. Wrap this up. Oh. Okay, 1 hour, 3 minutes. That's not that bad. That's bad. I think I can wrap this up in 30 more minutes. Okay, I got on some tangents there. Tangential. Alright. The big box. The big box. Ugh. What is in this box, you might say? What is in this box? It's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Cube. Singleton. Oh, wait. Actually, let's do this one first. So, I actually... In one of my phases of quitting Yu-Gi-Oh! I gave up this deck. I gave it up. I gave it away to one of my... I gave up my soul to one of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Friends. And I gave them this deck. But then they reprinted the cards later, so I rebuilt it. So this is the punk deck. The punks. I love the archetype. The art. They were cooking. So this is Psychic Punk. They got a bunch of psychic dudes. You know, psychic, I guess, is like human psychic energy. So they're all humanoids, I guess. But dude, just these cards are so cool. The art is so cool. The reference is so... I don't even understand the reference, but like I know that it's like a certain art style. So that's just cool. It's cool. It's cool. And you get the waifu, the freaking branded girl. Why do you hate Ecclesia and not hate freaking Xiamen? Because Xiamen's cool. And Ecclesia's not cool. Get bodied. Yeah, I love punks, man. They're just so cool. They make you can make an archetype off every art style that exists in the world, and I would eat it up. I'd eat that Shemiza up. Freaking punks, great. Get this out of here. All right, cube. So Singleton cube. I have my... Here, let me put it like this. Oh, I guess I knocked the camera a little bit. I've been talking so much. My throat's a little scuffed. Singleton cube. Here we go. I have a bunch of spells. I think these are the spells. Take a look at that. All Singleton. Generic, hopefully. Most of them are pretty generic. Right? Got the Mega Morse, all the equipped spells. Messenger of Peace. Mystical Space Typhoon. You know, all Singleton, generically used spells. So in this cube, like, you can basically get a random assortment of cards, and then you can either draft it or do it randomly and make a cube deck and then play it against your other cube drafters. And I love cube. My favorite way to play card games is draft. I love drafting. And that's one of the advantages Magic the Gathering has over our boys Yu-Gi-Oh here. Because Yu-Gi-Oh has all these archetypes and things work only with that archetype, the Yu-Gi-Oh sets and packs aren't draftable. So you end up having a bunch of garbage. And Magic has a bunch of garbage too, don't get me wrong. But at least I can play draft. At least that garbage is functional in the game, right? There are some cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that just do nothing if you don't have those other cards. Which means they are functionally worthless. Like if this is a trap card that says search an Archfiend card and you have no Archfiends, that card is trash. Not the card is like trash from a card game sense, but it's trash in a draft sense. In that if you don't have any Archfiend cards, it does nothing. You have a nothing card because you don't have the other card. And Yu-Gi-Oh has so much of that. It's insane how much of that Yu-Gi-Oh has. So it's part of the design of the game, but I really don't like that I can't draft Yu-Gi-Oh. So I made my own cube so I can play draft in Yu-Gi-Oh. That's what this is, right? So I've been getting all the generic cards that I come across and put them into the draft. Even the new ones. whatever I see that I'm like, oh, this can be used in draft, I pick it up, put it in here. So if you ever want to play draft, make a cube, and it's pretty fun. I think it's pretty fun. Nobody has yet to play this with me, unfortunately, even though I have it built. No one has yet to really play cube with me. Feels pepo sag, but I have it. And it makes I like that I have it. People don't really want to play that way, unfortunately. In Yu-Gi-Oh, the community isn't really built for people to want to play cube, right? And these are mostly generic mostly generic Yu-Gi-Oh cards that you can play generically. Mostly generic Yu-Gi-Oh cards that you can play in a cube format, and just this lower level power level of Yu-Gi-Oh is my favorite way to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, it has a little more higher power. It's a little more than just T set pass, I hope, but sometimes it just is that. But that's just I want to play the game, and I can't play the game when turn player 1 summons 50 million dudes and sets up 5 interaction, and then I just can't do anything. And then you might be saying, oh, well, that's because you don't play the good cards. You're right. I don't play the good cards because I'm not putting money into the game. You'd be like, oh, if you don't have money to put in the game, don't play the game. Okay, that's not the point. That's not the point. When you make a game, you should, in my opinion, strive to have as many players as possible in a feasible way, right? Of course, it can't be just free, but you should make it so that people can get the cards to play the game. And that, I hope one day that people can see the vision that I'm talking about when I release my card game, right? This is just historical lore purposes. Preface back, so if whatever happens in the future, you can come back and look at this public video that I really was thinking about these things. Not that I need to prove it, but just for context, I guess, for the interest of the lore. If people care, I don't know. I'm doing this for fun. For fun. And then I have my other Chinese pastry boxes. Surprisingly, take a look at that. The plastic of a pineapple cake 16 individually wrapped pineapple cake from this company. Their pineapple cake orientation for 16 pineapple cakes perfectly fits Yu-Gi-Oh, or just in general trading cards. I could divvy up and section each archetype in the plastic mold that this pastry box comes with. Isn't that crazy? So the funniest thing is that means that the pineapple cakes were 3.5 inches wide. Because if I take a magic card, I could slot it in here and it fits very well. And it's got 4 columns, each sectionated with 4 sections, so I can categorize 16 groups of cards. I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, look how perfect that is. Isn't that these pineapple cakes were cooking with that 3.5 inch divider. Sheesh. Anyway, this is my ghetto free card sorting machine. So instead of getting something that is actually designed for cards, as a person not trying to spend money, I saw this and I was like, wait, maybe I could put cards in here, and now they're repurposed to organize my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Genius. Anyway, let's go through these. Freaking all the decks that I'm trying to randomly build from my Yusei Satellite bulk collection. I have random ritual support with incantation. Oh wait, no, this is the Nouvelles cards. I love the Nouvelles cards because I love food and I have a grand appreciation for people who cook, especially in the service field, because I can't imagine being a cook and having to serve people, especially people who don't appreciate it, and then having to be at their whim because they pay money to go eat at your place. Like I couldn't imagine. As a person who's worked in the restaurant industry, it's just it. I could not be a cook. I'll say that. The BES core, the super spaceships. I love super spaceships. I think machine is probably up there in the archetypes that I really enjoy. So just machine guys trying to build that. I have chaos. Oh, the Korean Grand Maju de Erza, the most funniest card to ever exist. I love this card. You just go and Master Duel when I was playing Master Duel, or just in general, Inferno Tempest. This card has such an OG like story behind it for me. My brother would play Inferno Tempest, let me attack for 3k or higher, and then banish all monsters in both our decks. And then he'd play this at like 200,000 attack points or 20,000 attack points and kill me. And I think I cried at one point because I was a freaking kid, right? And I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, you lose 2,000, 20,000. What can you do? And I was like, oh, boo, boo. Freaking child retro rage, freaking crying because he's getting hard destroyed by Grand Maju Inferno Tempest back in 2007. I just love this card. Nowadays, you go Stromberg or Pot of Desires, where you banish 20, or Eater of Millions. You banish all your extra deck with Eater of Millions, and you Pot of Desires, and this goes to 10k immediately. The funny memes like that. So, I love this card. This card has a special place in my heart. So there's that. I'm trying to build Synchron Slop. I just 5Ds has a special place. Yusei, Crow, Jack, Atlas, all those guys from 5Ds. I would like to have their decks and just have their decks. Being Junk Warrior Assault mode stuff with all the new Assault stuff. Yeah. There's Synchro stuff. I have my fish deck. This is the deck that I built. I love the goatee cards. Where are they? The goatee cards, the deep sea jellyfish or deep sea animals, and like when they're in the deep sea, it's like space. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. Like look at that. Look how freaking cool that is. This is supposed to be like super underwater. Like this is the monsters that I want in my Yu-Gi-Oh Monsters game. Monsters, right? But I don't mind a little bit of human here and there. I don't mind a little bit of human here. But I do love the monsters. The deep sea is so genius. Like deep sea being space, and then these are like space-like jellyfish creatures. It's peak. It's peak. Oh, somebody would be interested in this. This is the Elden Ring Dark Souls archetype. The Ashen one, guys. I'm not too good on the lore. It's called the Ashen one, or that Person of Ash. No, it is the Ashen one, right? In Dark Souls, you're the Ashen one. Literally, this guy is Embers of the Ashen, right? Extinguishing the Ashen. This is literally the Dark Souls Yu-Gi-Oh card. Rekindling the Ash. Look at the words. Rekindling the bonfire. The Ashen City. Inferno of the Ashen. Like, you can't tell me these aren't Dark Souls cards. They literally look the part. Anyways, one of my friends really likes Dark Souls and Elden Ring. He's freaking from slopware enjoyer. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But I was building this deck for him, but I couldn't get all the cards, and the deck ended up being not very good. So, I mean, I'll still build it for him, but it's kind of bad. I don't think he'll be winning games with Ashen. Yeah, but it's cool. I like the art. They're kind of like monsters. The Dark Souls monsters. Yeah, the monster world. I could appreciate that, even though I don't like Dark Souls, and I kind of hate I kind of hate Dark Souls. In fact. Oh, did I stream it? I don't think I streamed my Dark Souls 3 playthrough. Oh, that one is lost to the memory of the mind. No digital storage for that one, but oh my goodness. That would have been some content. If you guys can see my Dark Souls 3 playthrough, oh my goodness. What a disaster. What an absolute disaster of a game. Alright, what else do I have? I have Chaos. I love the Chaos, Dark and Light shenanigans that exist in this game. It's a neat idea where you banish one of that type and the other type. Like, they were cooking. That's like a pretty novel idea. And thematically, it's pretty cool. So, they're cooking with that one. Oh, these are all cringe floodgate traps and spells. They have their own forbidden slot upside down on the top of another floodgate cringe deck called Monarchs, where they hand rip you and summon. Actually, they just hand rip you, and that's pretty cringe. And sometimes they may play a floodgate, like Vanity's Fiend or something. I have here Kashtira. So, I didn't play Kashtira during the heyday of Kashtira back in, 2021, 2022, because the cards were too expensive, but they got a bunch of reprints, and I was able to pick them up. And I like, okay. Like Branded, we had the, what's his name? A Rise Heart? The Rise Heart guy. What? The warrior monster with the blue, what is his name? It's Rise Heart? Something Rise Heart? 5-star. He had his whole Branded archetype where he was like in the Kashtira world. He was in the what's that other archetype called? Scareclaw. It was Scareclaw, Kashtira, and one other one. Like multi-universal guy in different dimensions. It's literally the exact same thing they're doing with the other guy who's part of Elf Notes. What's his name? Medius the Pure. So the Rise Heart was the Medius the Pure equivalent. They did the same thing, but with Medius the Pure right now, where Medius the Pure has the Doom Z. He's Doom Z, Elf Notes, and Power Patron. I think those are the three. Power Patron, Doom Z. No, Art Mage. Art Mage? Is it Art Mage? I think it's Art Mage. Art Mage, Doom Z, and Elf Notes. No, Power Patron. There's no Power Patron. Power Patron, Art Mage, Doom Z. We had Rise Heart with Kashtira, Scareclaw. I'm channeling the brain power. I can't figure out the third one. It was some other one. And, I didn't even know Kashtira was... These guys don't look like they're part of this guy, right? I didn't make that connection at all. So, I would have not liked this guy. But, these guys are so cool. Fenrir, dude, when they were cooking with this art, it's so sick. Unicorn is so sick. I'm a Power Rangers superhero, pose super guy. So I like these kind of cards where they're superheroes in armor and posing stuff. Oh, I'm a superhero slop enjoyer. I would call it what it is, dude. Costume slop enjoyer. I dig those silly type deal thing. So I'm cashier enjoyer. I'm a cashier enjoyer. They are very cringe though. This deck is cringe. It's cringe. But this one passes the vibe check. It's cringe. It's cringe. This deck's cringe. The thing it's trying to do in the actual game, terrible. I have my magnet dudes because this was all commons, and I like magnets. I like the magnets, but these cards are so why did they make circular for magnets? Like I could give this away and not feel bad, but I do like the magnet guys, but not like this, not like this. I love the spirit archetype, spirit monsters here. These are all my spirit monsters. We got Tsukiyomi, that's like an OG. I unfortunately have a bunch of copies of Sakitama for some reason because back when I was ordering from TCG Player, I made a couple of mistakes, so now I have just a bunch of copies of this card for some reason. But the spirit archetype is also a messed up archetype. I don't know what Konami was thinking with returning everything back to your hand, and so they have to make these cards. If they wanted to make this type of card broken or good, it had to be broken, in my opinion. Well, I guess Sakitama, is usually splashed as an extender for other decks, but regardless, I bought 3 copies of the Armor Structure deck, so I have the Horus core here for whenever I need something to splash and play. I mean, it's whatever works, I guess. I have it. I have the Horus core to try and do something with. Look how they've warped. I can make a circle out of this. What would I say? 5-inch circle radius? No, probably less than that. 3.5-inch radius circle with how warped these cards are. You can tell. Look at the card quality difference. These are just normal cards, and anyways, I have a Horus core from the structure deck. And Inferno Tempest, the GOAT, this is what I cried when I got hit by this when I was younger. And here's my actual English versions of Gren Maju, right? You see that? The beautiful Gren Maju de Erza in mirror mode. And then the Eater of Million shenanigans with the Gizmek Orochi to get that other 8 banish. Oh, 150. Let me speed run. I think this is. Okay, you know what else? Fluwanderies is also extremely cringe, but I love the birds. I just like animal. You put an animal in a Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm I'm going to collect these cards, but oh my goodness, these cards are so cringe. And they summon a penguin, Emperor the Impen, but the Impen is a floodgate, and it's cringe. Why am I playing a game that makes it so that people don't get to play the game? When you make cards that don't let people play the game, it's not fun to play the game. But Impen is not a problem nowadays, but back when it was in its heyday, oh goodness. But I like birds. Birds are cool. I want to get the bird cards, That's what that is. I have a couple of them. Runic, the Watt card. Okay, guys. I just have a bunch of animal cards. I like animals. Okay, what can I say? I like animals. Animals are cool. And when they're put in Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I like to collect them. And then I have Thunder randomly here. Vernicelf, also another animal archetype. They're just cool. A freaking bear that floats in the forest. He's collecting water and he's crying for some reason, or not crying, but waking up. This is cool. I like animals, man. My favorite book series is Redwall. Talking animals are Cool. I like that. I'm an animal enjoyer, and then I have Amazons. Why do I guess they're warriors. I like warriors a lot too, and fighting warrior ladies. Why I'm not above fighting warrior ladies. They're cool. They're cool. I like cool things. Powerful ladies. That's a thumbs up. Thumbs up in my book. And then I have the armed dragon because Manjome Thunder chaz it up. But these cards are so randomly scattered across Yu-Gi-Oh's history that it's hard to get all of them. So there's that. What is this one? White Forest I'm building for my friend. I just have some cards for it. I don't really not a thing that I'm trying to get. Some Blue Eyes. The Jet Dragon, Blue Eyes, Jet. Freaking this card is a sleeper. It's very strong. Surprisingly. That. I love the Gate Guardians. I remember when I said about I forget their names. All I know is that what are the names? Okay, wait. Let me think. I might have to do a. What are their names? A little searching. Yugi and Joey. My keyboard is sideways, so. Versus. There's something brothers. Paradox Brothers, that's the word. They're Paradox Brothers. Yes. I love the Gate Guardian. Freaking Gate Guardian. I have the retrains. Right? The extra support they got back in 2020 with the new Labyrinth retrain that searches this field spell that lets you get the original so that you can do the fusion summons to summon the new retrain fusion combinations that were in the anime. Kind of. They're kind of in the anime, not really, not like this, but like when they were forming, they were in these modes. So, I love the Gate Guardians. And I want this deck to be good, but unfortunately, it's not that good. So, they're in here as collection. But they're cool. Gate Guardian, what a cool idea. The 3 Guardians, and then when they come together, like, it's cool. I like it. Paradox Brothers are cool. And then they made a new type of Yu-Gi-Oh monsters called Illusion. And dude, this guy, he just look how sick he looks. Look how cool he is. That's so cool. This is like the Dark Magician version, but in the Illusion type. And I think he's just so cool. And I want to build an Illusion deck. So I've been collecting all the Illusion cards that I come across. So that maybe one day I can build an Illusion deck. Because I find the cards cool. The Illusion I like the monsters. Look, they're like monsters. They're cool monsters. So I've been trying to ignore all. I like this card a lot. What can I say? I saw a bunch of copies and I was like, I'll just take them. I'll take them all. So if they can make a deck based around getting this guy out, because he's really good. His effect is really good. I feel like if you can get him out easily, he'd actually be a pretty good card. So I'm waiting on that. Having a deck dedicated to summoning Nightmare Magician. I need a Nightmare archetype, Konami. Save that. Write that one in the notes. Write that down. Nightmare archetype. And then for the final Yugioh product. Or no, actually, before we get to this one, I have this one here too. So one of my other high school friends, it was Six Sams, right? He was playing Six Sams. The other friend was playing Blue Eyes and Chaos. And then finally, the other of the 4 of us that played Yu-Gi-Oh, or no, 5 of us that played Yu-Gi-Oh, one of us play Dark Worlds. So I have the 3 copies of the Dark World structure deck to give to him at some point. Because, he's now back into Yu-Gi-Oh! No, he's not really back into Yu-Gi-Oh! But I just wanted to have it as memento type deal. Just something to have a flashback to the past. We had, we had a falling out. And, it's only recently that we're all able to get back together, which I'm happy about. I'm glad. That future, I want the future for us to be good and successful. And so it's glad to be back together again with the gang. The OG gang, I guess. We're all back together. It's the right timeline. We had a falling out, but we grew up a little more, and we come back with new perspective. So we're back at it. We're back at it again. And that's good. I'm really happy about that. And then I have Crystal Beast and Cyberdark, 3 copies of the structure deck. So this comes from back in college in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Club, Bruins Duelist Association. My little slight docs there. But we had these structure deck duels tournaments where you would just get a structure deck. Everyone would get one structure deck, and we'd duel each other in tournament style and see who's the best structure deck duelist. And I really like that. That was actually a great format. But you need people to do it with, and it being the Yu-Gi-Oh! Club and all, that was a great platform to be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! in this type of tournament format where everyone has the same exact cards, the same exact structure deck, and it really is just a battle of skill with what cards you were able to draw. And sometimes if you drew the good cards of the structure deck, you kind of auto win. But sometimes both players didn't, and it was a really fun and engaging way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I actually really liked it. So I participated in these structure deck tourneys, and I came out. I picked up some extra structure decks, so I just get 3 to build the deck, and these are the decks. So if you guys can get, I think that's a great way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Get a bunch of structure decks of equivalent power. Team APS does this a lot, but and you don't even have to have new structure decks. I could take these structure decks apart, put them all in the 3 copies, and we could just play like that. And I think that'd be pretty fun. It's not fun if you keep playing it, but for the first time, as initial first couple 3 duels with it, it's a pretty good way. And a structure deck's only $10. So if you get you and someone else, you both pick up a structure deck with $20, that you can get a good 2-3 hours worth, or maybe 1-2 hours worth of playing. And that's great. Structure decks, I like structure decks. Structure decks is not a bad product. That's a product I can support Konami on to some extent. I think that the structure decks of Konami, that's a good product. I don't like their packs and other things. From a gameplay player perspective, as a collector or someone who just wants to open packs, I guess it's okay. But from the game health standpoint, I do not appreciate the way they make their packs. But structure decks, guys, structure deck is neat. All right, it has been 2 hours and 4 minutes. Approaching the final pineapple cake box with the same mold. I'm telling you, this pineapple cake box, oh my goodness, perfect card collection. Okay, not everyone likes Chinese pineapple cakes. No plug, no sponsorship. They're pretty, for a one-time thing. I mean, you're getting 16, but if you happen to purchase pineapple cake boxes of the 16 amount kind, you have this hidden tech where if you also played card games, you could use this box on top of consuming the very delicious pineapple cakes. You can use them to sort your trading cards. Freaking Lamau. Alright. Let me try to remember what I was thinking about. Oh yeah, the final set. I have Bee Trooper because insects are cool. Monster animals. What can I say? I thought they were cool. Like, look at how cool that. There's like warriors on top of insects. You know, they were. It's like a warrior bee. That's cool. And then like, look, there's this guy. It's like D&D with bee insects. It's pretty cool. They were cooking. I have Gokis. Oh, freaking the character. What's his name? Gazuma. Oh my goodness. In V-Reigns, this character goes through the craziest character arc. Like, I couldn't even describe to you the arc which the character that plays this deck goes through. Like, but I the warriors are cool. I like them, but the deck is kind of. I need the other cards that I'm missing, and the deck's kind of it's sus in terms of how good it is. It's not that good, but maybe one day. More Bee Troopers to all. Here's the others, all the insect stuff. So I have a bunch of insect cards that 2 piles of them. They're just neat. The Ragnar Rika. I also a big fan of snakes and dragons. But like not the Yu-Gi-Oh! The Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragons are pretty cool, but they end up. I don't know why I don't pick them up. I like some of the dragon archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Not all of them, but some of them. Where are my? I think my reptile snake cards are the Lamias and Ogdoadic Lamia cards. I have them somewhere. I don't think I brought them here, but they exist. I think that I put them in another box somewhere. Yes. And then I have the OG Yu-Gi-Oh! Slifer the Sky Dragon deck where you use Soul Crossing to. This guy's basically kind of like a floodgate if you can't out him. It's pretty cringe. If you read Slifer's effect, that is kind of cringe. Doesn't let you play the game a little bit. But the Egyptian God card. I guess that it might be a little bit okay. Yeah, I've the Egyptian God cards here. Or not the Slifer specifically from the structure deck. I guess I have a lot of structure deck product. Because structure decks are good. Good product. I have number OTK with Numeron 100, Numeron Dragon. Right? It's just rank 8 slop. This is Danger. Rank 8 slop. And I love Danger. Okay, guys. I guess I have all the animal archetypes. Or no, not all of them, but a lot of them. Maybe there's a certain trend there where I'm collecting all the animal cards. Oh, look at that alt art for Danger Bigfoot where he's the Yeti. Oh, sick. This Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs to cook like this. Like, there's a lot of potential to make good product. Yeah, this is rank 8 slop. Then I have the ancient gear stuff that is not as good, or just things for ancient gear that are old. Oh, my dice deck. This deck is, guys. I just like dice a lot, and this deck is very memey. It's Morphtronic FTK, where you use Cannon Soldier with 2 Morphtronic telephons and like just loop it until your opponent dies. I with the dungeon dice to try to make it this deck is not consistent and loses to anything, but it's funny meme. This is a meme deck, and I like Leo is a great character in terms of his character growth, especially in the sub with the extra duels that the English dub didn't get, unfortunately. But I like the Morphtronic cards a lot. They're like these electronic gadgets that transform depending on their position, and they have different effects, and it's just very creative. Like the effect and how they works is very creative, and it works with sorry, the effects work with the art, so it's neat. And then what else do I have here? I have assault stuff. Oh yeah, Blackluster Soldier stuff. Blackluster Soldier is a really cool card, and I'm just collect. I'm not necessarily. I haven't collected these cards. I think someone gave them to me. Yes, I remember. They gave them this core to me because they didn't really use it. So I have a small core, older core of Blackluster Soldier. And I like the retrain new one. And there's getting another retrain, I think, in this most recent set. The Magicians of Chaos or something? Chaos? Maybe. I'm not sure. But it's just such a sick artwork, dude. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Artists really be putting in work. I have Heka Hands. These are cool illusion monsters that have hands. They have Heka hand. They have a lot of hands, and it's just neat. I like the theming here. They're cool, and they are related to hands. And it was pretty creative. I thought it was a creative idea, so I have some of the cards, all the commons that aren't high rarity because I only get bulk, but they're cool. I have Synchro Slop for eventual Synchro Yusei Synchro Slop deck. Oh yeah, I didn't open that other Yu-Gi-Oh box that I have, but that black box had Radiant Typhoon, which is like the retrain of Mystical Typhoon, which I really like. It's super neat. They have like these cloud wind based. I don't know why they're humans. In fact, I don't know. I like the fact that it's a archetype based on Mystical Space Typhoon because I like Mystical Space Typhoon, but I do not know how these cards. I guess they're wind channelers, so they're all able to make the Mystical Space Typhoon. They're like people that call upon the Mystical Space Typhoon. Which is cool. I thought it was cool, and I like Konami knows how to bring me back into the game after I quit. Like they're like, I'm gonna make this really old card new, and I'm like, I really like that old card, and now it's new, and then I come back in and I go walk through the door. They get me with that. Oh, and then RB is such a cool archetype. I love how they have the company logo on the part of the monster. This is like a monster part, and there's like a company logo that's associated with that part, and that is so cool. It's so cool that it inspired me to make something. But you know what? Words wraps on that. Maybe you'll see that thing that it inspired me to make in the future. But I really like the artist and their idea that they put in here. Like, this is so cool. They're cooking. This is so cool. So cool. And then I have some tokens. All the tokens that I've randomly come across. I think they're all from OTS or structure decks. And some really old tokens. This is the Grinder Golem token. Rose token from 5Ds. This is Earthbound Immortal token. Structure deck tokens. This is the Destiny Hero token. The what? Oh, I'm blanking on the name. This is such a famous card, but it's that battle monster effect guy's token. How can I be blanking on the name? It's used in like almost every old deck because it was just such a good card for the time. Jam Defender Slime token. Gradius token, even though like Gradius, they have Gradius. They put Gradius. Konami owns Gradius. They have Gradius in the game, but like that card is so whack. They should retrain that one. I'd be interested in a retrain there. Koribo tokens. Ogdoadic token. The reptile. The snakes. The schnecks. Oh, I think this is plant stuff, which should be here. That should be here. Oh, Space Bears. Earth's Arctic. I've already the superhero costume, but they're bears too in space. Like that's just the wombo combo. Freaky! I love these cards. They're just Space Bear Gundam bears. Like, how can you go wrong with Gundam bears? That's sick. You know, they could make an anime about this, about bears in space with Gundam suits. Like it's just peak content. It's peak content. So I got that deck here. It's peak. Oh, I have the other RB cards. Right? Oh, it's so genius. The part and the company name. It's such a genius idea. Like, it's so simple, but it works so well. Like they were so cooking with this the theming around these cards and the story that it tells. They were cooking hard. Like no artists. No, Konami doesn't put their artists on their cards. Like they need to pay their artists more for cooking these genius ideas. I don't know who designs these cards, but genius. They're genius. This is Golden Sarcophagus. It's like retrains of old dual monster cards with a new Golden Sarcophagus. The idea is that they're supposed to stay in the graveyard because Atem. Spoilers. Yami Yugi, the Pharaoh's real name is Atem. You know, if you haven't watched the original Duel, that's spoilers, guys. You know, they're supposed to stay locked in the Golden Sarcophagus. Like, they're supposed to stay like dead, right? And they shouldn't be like roaming around and stuff. And this deck is like references that idea. Where like, oh, the DMG gets stronger for every Golden Sarcophagus in the graveyard, and like the graveyard is like a representation of like the Golden Sarcophagus. They're cooking. I was like, I like this archetype. What is this? Oh, Sue ships. I tried to make it. This was my first attempt at making a 3D card, and it turned out. It turned out. And I haven't done it ever again. But like, it's because I don't think I had very good tools to make a card like this here. It's kind of 3D. You see, it's like a bunch of cards, a bunch of the same. There was so much bulk for this card that I just collected a bunch of them, and I decided, okay, let me try doing a 3D card. So like it kind of like digs in, if you see that. It's kind of 3D. Oh yeah, I did it. It's okay, but I could definitely do a better job with this had I had the right tools. My knife was not very good, so I end up having to outline the edges a bit so that it would look not as terrible. Maybe one day I'll try another 3D card again, but I love sushi warships. Like, when I think about Yu-Gi-Oh monsters, this is what I like to see. Like the create just random like who is cooking this stuff? It's genius. Sushi warships. Look at that. It's all the sushi artillery and planes or whatever. Like look at that. It's genius. It's genius. And they're just sushi. The cards are just sushi, and they get assembled at a depot to make a warship. Like genius, genius. And then I have the normal monster support with the Primites. So if you don't know about that, Primites are this archetype that helps me get the normal monster, which this archetype is all about, that sushi base, the suship shari, right? That rice and seaweed to help make all the other cards exist. So there's that. And finally, we're on our last pile. I have Dark Magician. But it's like incomplete and randomly all over the place. So it's not very functional. I mean, hey, the Dragoon, guys, back. I got onto the Dragoon train way later. This card used to be broken, but now it's just mid, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's cool. I like it. It's cool. This card's cool. It's Red Eyes Black Dragon, the Red Eyes Black Dragon, and Dark Magician. It's a cool card. Cool card. And then I have a bunch of stuff I just been collecting across time. Gold Pride is really cool. It's a reference to Redline, the Redline movie, but like has, in my opinion, has better character design. I don't like the Redline for all its great animation, the story and the characters. I could care less, right? Like I don't know if people are watching Redline for the writing and the design. The animation is oh my goodness. The animators were cooking, but that story and those characters, like I could care less what's going on in that movie. But it's pretty cool. I like the designs here more than I do the movie. So if they made a movie about this, maybe I'd be more interested. And then we have Dinomorphia. It's like I like the way Dinomorphia plays more than necessarily the archetype itself, where like you're halving life points and doing shenanigans. So like if these cards were blank, I would still pick up these cards. This is the one of the rare cases where it's like the flip effects, right? But like I also like the art on those flip effect monsters. This one, these could be blank cards, and I would pick them. I have these cards mainly because their effects are so funny and interesting. And then Goblin Bikers, because I like the goblins. I'm a goblin enjoyer, so these cards are kind of all over the place, and I kind of stopped playing when they were released. But if I've seen them, I've been trying to get them all together. I have all the old Goblin cards. They're all in the cube, like Goblin Attack Force, and Goblin Rescue Squad, and Goblin Alert. Like, I just like Goblins. Goblins are funny. They are mistreated and misunderstood. So the good goblins, the bad goblins, they can get destroyed. But you know they're the good there's good goblins out there, guys. I am a loot goblin myself, and I like stealing from individuals who deserve to be stolen from. Who doesn't like a good amount of shaloot? I have random Lyrilisk here, the bird, chibi bird. Anthropomorphic faces character. You know, I think the reason why I have the Lyrilisk is because there's just so much bulk of them, and I was like, I might as well pick up some since I picked up the ultra rare. So I just picked up 3 copies of whatever I saw. So I have like a mini incomplete core here, and the Grave Keepers. We'll finish it. How perfect it is that we end off with Grave Keepers. One of my most favorite cards of all time. Necro Valley. things should stay where they belong, in the graveyard. And it's their jobs of the gravekeepers to keep it that way. This archetype, the Egyptian, the true Egyptians, they went hard. Like, it's peak. It's peak. It's like a whole culture in an archetype of like gravekeeping in Egypt. It's basically that. It's neat. It's neat. Oh, I don't think I have all the cards here, but I have more cards of this somewhere else. And then, actually, we're not ending off that way. We're ending off with gladiator beast, some more animals, warrior animals. Oh no, and then it's Therion. Okay, these are all mini collections that I have. So Therion, because they're cool machine, like suit. I'm just costumes and suits. I'm a costume slop enjoyer. Look at it. These are cool. They just did like a cool costume thing, and that's cool. And they're superhero. They're like a superhero squad. I don't know the lore here, but like if you put them all together, they would look like a superhero squad. And I just that's cool. I'm a superhero slop enjoyer. What can I say? And I think that is my collection of cards that I have not recycled. So there you go. Yugioh's final words. Yugioh has helped me connect with people that maybe I normally would never ever meet in my entire life, right? And it's like that commonality that has brought us together. And so for however bad the game is and Konami's business practices are and all those shenanigans, I can say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Konami has made a thing, or our recently deceased Yu-Gi-Oh! Creator, I forget his first name, Takahashi, I think. Let me get this right. He made something that has allowed me to connect, and like it has significantly impacted my life just from me sharing the love for Yu-Gi-Oh with other people who love Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And if it wasn't for Yu-Gi-Oh, a lot of the people that are currently in my life right now, like, they wouldn't be there. So that is something I can always appreciate from Yu-Gi-Oh, no matter what bad business practices Konami does, what disappointments Konami brings me every time they do something I don't agree with necessarily. For all those negative things that they brings me, I can say that I've gotten a lot from Yu-Gi-Oh in my life, and the things that the people I've been able to meet through Yu-Gi-Oh, and I can appreciate that. Let me get the name. Creator. Unfortunately, he has passed away due to, I think he was trying to save some drowning people, and unfortunately drowned himself. Let me get the name. Let me get the name right for the respect. Kazuki Takahashi. Yes. Thank you, Konami and Mr. Takahashi, for creating Yu-Gi-Oh! To some extent. I think it has impacted my life in a positive way, where I'm able to meet the friends that I have and the people through this game and the anime and just the media in general. That I can appreciate. Alright. 2 hours and 30 minutes of Retro Age lore and my collection. Peace.